right, guys, what you just saw is the part that every guy wants. The women, the freedom, the feeling that life finally has space again. But I gotta smash your fantasy, man. Because a lot of guys see that footage and they think the only missing piece is the plane ticket. They think that leaving America is the plan. It's not. Leaving America without income is just changing the scenery around your anxiety. So here's one of the dangerous guys that might be watching this video. Maybe you got $10,000, $15,000, or maybe even $20,000 saved up. You hate your job, you're tired of rent, traffic, dating apps, office politics. You're close to just rage quitting your job and telling yourself, I'll just figure it out when I get overseas. But here's the reality. An overseas plan without income is just a vacation with a funeral date. The flight may feel like freedom, but without cash flow, every day overseas becomes one day closer to panic. And here's the real problem. You're mistaking location change for life design. Moving to Asia can make the math better, but it does not replace income. And geography lowers your financial burn rate, but it does not remove the need for a bridge. So if your only plan is the amount of savings that you got, you do not have a plan. You have a countdown. So here's how the emotional sequence typically goes. First, you might get fed up with your American job. Maybe the manager, they annoy you just one too many times. Then the rent hits your paycheck again. The dating apps humiliate you. And then you watch some videos of overseas life and you decide, man, I'm done with this. And you might take a reckless move. Maybe you quit. You take your savings, you buy the flight ticket, you land in Southeast Asia or South America or somewhere else that looks cheaper and freer. And at first, everything feels like a victory. Got warm weather, good food, pretty women, no office, no alarm clock. But here's the problem. You're treating your savings like it's an income. And that's the financial poison. Savings can buy time, but savings do not refill themselves. So every hotel night, every coffee, every taxi, every date, and every random mistake makes the account lower. And then you might be feeling some anxiety. Even when you're smiling at the beach, part of your brain is doing the math. How much money did I spend today? How long can I last? What happens if I don't find work? What if I have to go home back to America? The lifestyle starts feeling fake because panic is running under it. And here's the false confidence that might come from living in inexpensive countries. The lower cost of living can stretch your money, but it can also seduce irresponsible men. They spend more because everything feels cheap. And then 1 month of cheap fun becomes a month of serious burn on their financial rate. And here's how geographic arbitrage works. It works when you combine lower costs with income. Without income, it just delays the moment when reality comes to collect its payment. So a cheaper country does not fix a broken plan. It only gives that broken plan more runway. By the way, if you're watching your savings drain while telling yourself that you're going to figure it out later, then you're already letting panic decide your future. So that's why I offer a free 15-minute Get Overseas strategy call. We can look at your savings, your income options, your country path, and build a real bridge before you put yourself in emergency mode. So click the link in the pinned comment or the description of this video. Sign up for your 15-minute Get Overseas strategy call. We can do the call over Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp. So let's break down the timeline. Your first month overseas might feel amazing. You're eating well, meeting people, exploring. Maybe you're dating or even posting pictures. You feel like you beat the system. But in reality, you haven't beaten anything yet. You're just spending the stored amount of money that you got. Now, month 2 starts to feel more complicated. Excitement starts mixing with calculation. The visa situation is unclear. The hotel is too expensive. The apartment deposit feels bigger than expected. The online job is slower than you imagined. Now the beach has a shadow over it. It's where the pressure starts to change your personality. The bank account drops. The desperation starts to enter your voice. And you start chasing any job, any platform, any recruiter, any promise, any opportunity that looks like it can stop the bleeding. So freedom without cash flow becomes panic with better weather. And that's the core warning that I have for you. Sunshine does not make panic noble. Being on the beach does not make broke feel strategic. And the desperation really starts to reek around you. Your employers can feel it. The women you meet can feel it. Any job recruiters you meet can feel it. You start accepting bad pay, bad housing, bad contracts, sketchy offers, and humiliating compromises because your timeline is no longer strategic. It's survival. And here's the final humiliation. Maybe you take the job that you would have avoided if you had proper planning. Maybe you beg your family for money, maybe you max out your credit cards, or you do the walk of shame back to America. Same debt, less savings, more shame, more fear than before. So going broke overseas does not make you adventurous. It makes you easy to exploit. So here's the correct order to do things. First, you want to assess the money you got. Choose the country. Identify the income vehicle that can fund your lifestyle. Prepare the documents. Build the first work path and then book the flight. Not flight first, not I will figure it out first. And that means you got to look at your savings honestly. How much financial runway do you actually have? Like after flights, insurance, your first month housing, the deposit, visa costs, emergency reserve, and maybe any mistakes you might make. Most men overestimate their runway because they count only rent and food. So you need to choose your country based on the burn rate and the income path you've chosen. Vietnam might fit one man, Japan might fit another, and Latin America might fit this guy. Online teaching might fit one man's profile, and in-person teaching might fit another man's profile. The country is not just some kind of fantasy backdrop. It's part of your financial machine. And you want to secure your baseline income engine before the move if possible. That could be online teaching, tutoring, classroom job pipeline, part-time remote work, savings plus confirmed interviews, or a realistic training plan. The point is to land with a bridge already under construction. Man, don't call me when you're on your last $400, bro. I've had guys call me when they're already overseas running broke and it looks like they got to go back to America, and that's not a fun situation to deal with. The best time to build a plan is before your pride turns into panic. So taking risk is not the problem. Blind risk is the problem. A serious man can move boldly while still respecting the math, the timing, the documents, and the cash flow. And the plane ticket should be your execution of the plan, not your substitute for one. And proper strategy gives you a lot of benefits. It gives you a clear head. You land knowing that your monthly financial burn rate, your income target, your job path, the backup options you have, and what problems you're likely to face. The calm changes everything. And you can actually enjoy your lifestyle. A beach walk feels different when you know that your rent is already covered. A coconut tastes different when you know you got income coming in. And a date feels different when you're not mentally subtracting every dish from your bank account balance. And you stop making fear-based decisions. No panic job applications. No sketchy recruiters. No bad contracts just because your account is bleeding. No moving into terrible housing just because you waited too long. Strategy protects your standards. And proper strategy buys you time to adapt. The first month overseas, you can use it to learn your neighborhoods, build a daily routine, meet people, understand transport, adapt to the culture, and strengthen income. It shouldn't be spent just desperately refreshing job boards from a cheap hotel room. And you need to understand that the first bridge overseas, it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. And a first income stream, even modest, can stop the countdown timer and turn the move from a gamble into a real operation. So the goal is not to land overseas rich. The goal is to land stable enough to think clearly. So if the danger is landing with no cash flow, the solution is obvious. Build the bridge before the bridge is the emergency. And that's why I consider English teaching to be your ultimate bridge building Trojan horse. It gets a normal man into a foreign country with income, structure, routine, local connections, and the ability to stay there before he builds the perfect remote overseas business or comes across a new business opportunity or builds a massive savings account. So it doesn't need to make you rich from day one. It just needs to cover your rent, food, transportation, gym, and give enough oxygen to build the next layer. And here's the progression for you. First, you start off with the teaching income. Second, you lower your cost of living. Third, you got a stable life routine. Fourth, you start building a local network. Fifth, you might start building some side hustles. Maybe you got some online ventures. You might do some private tutoring. You might get into content, consulting, digital services, or whatever second stream of income fits your skill set. And yeah, my free 15-minute Get Overseas strategy call is mandatory for preventing these kind of mishaps that can happen overseas. But I gotta warn you that it's not a rescue line to call me when everything is already burning down. It's the prevention step before a man turns a smart move into a financial emergency. If you like more overseas ideas sent to your inbox every week, I offer a free 3-Minute Madness newsletter. It's a weekly newsletter that you can read in 3 minutes or less. It's packed with ideas for overseas life, business, remote income, all the stuff to build your perfect overseas lifestyle. So I put the link in the pinned comment in the description of this video. Click the link and sign up for the 3-Minute Madness newsletter. And yeah, I just want to end this by saying, do not wait till your dream becomes damage control. Build the income bridge, get the plan, and then get overseas. I'll see you in the next video.